33 minutes past the hour. It is the Jeff Santos Show that you're tuned into, coming to you live from the South Coast here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We are wrapping up a day in which we've been talking about tomorrow's massive event. We urge you to go out and become part of history. Maybe 10 million people, the biggest, largest rally in American history, protest movement, if you want to call it that too. We all want to see the end of the Orange Menace as soon as possible, 25th Amendment, or whatever it's going to take to get us back to a part where American government is something that people want to work for or work in and not be destroyed and by selfish, greedy one percenters who only think that what their world's about. And of course, Mr. Trump is personification of that on the political side of things. So with that, it is now time to end the show with a little bit of laughter, a little bit of music, and time to wrap it up. And that means it's time to say hello to MTC. Mark Taylor-Canfield, Executive Director, Democracy Watch News, the fantastic Renaissance man of the Jeff Santos Show. He is getting ready for the big rallies tomorrow in the fabulous city of Seattle. And we bring him in via video, I believe, from Seattle, WA. Mark, can you hear me? CMD, and of course, a man with a guitar and a new one, it looks like, as well. He's got 40 of them. Mark Taylor-Canfield, MTC's in the house.
Jenny had a beautiful face, so she went out of place, but she went downtown, 'cause she heard the sounds. Raising banners everywhere, and someone put a flower in her hair, so she marched along, singing protest songs. And when the police tried to take her sign, she made a choice to hold the line. And when the tear gas started to flow, she felt the power of the people grow. And that's when they said, well, you can use your gas and your pepper spray, but nobody here's gonna go away.
Yeah, that's right.
That's when they said, well, you can call this a no protest zone, but these are our streets and this is our home. And if you are the ice, get out of the way. Yeah, if you are ice by now, you ought to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mark Taylor-Canfield. Check him out on YouTube, of course. Check him out right here every Friday on the Jeff Santos Show. Look at those fingers, man. All good and good. You team, eat your heart out. Oh, look at this. He's got a New York thing on today. My God. What is that thing under in the red? What's the red thing under New York, under the white?
I love New York City, that kind of thing. I love to visit New York. I love to visit New York. I don't know if I would want to live there, but I definitely love visiting there. It's so much fun. Although last time I
lived there. I lived there during 9/11, man. So I know the good, bad, and the ugly.
I can't imagine that. I cannot imagine it.
I
should tell people that song that I just did is called "The Battle in Seattle," and it's about the major protests against the WTO demonstrations back in 1999, a long time ago. And it kind of set a theme for Seattle, which continued a lot of protests after that for many, many years and to this day. And you can hear that song on YouTube. You can also go to the NPR music website because it's also there. It's called Battle in Seattle. And then if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can get all sorts of ad-free videos, including something called the MTC Report, where I talk about music and politics, democracy, what we do, what people can do in their daily lives to try to change things, and effective things that people have been doing, and just ways to analyze the situation from a from a journalist and an artist's point of view, because I see it from both sides, but I have this kind of attitude right now that I actually have never in my lifetime seen this many people hit the streets, Jeff. This is a first for me.
Well, if it's 10 million, it'll be a
amazing.
record. And,
Yeah.
great to be part of the history. Whether you're in a small town or a big city like New York City, as you mentioned, or Seattle, which is, one of the top 20 markets in the country. So there you go, folks. Get engaged, get involved, stand up for what you believe in. And if you believe in an America that is not just about the 1%, not just about lily white people who are landowners, which is, of course, how this country was founded, and some kind of object that Mark is waving around here. But the point is that can I finish my commentary before you stick this thing out into the camera? But anyways, it's important to get engaged, folks. And you don't have to wear a hat and glasses like our friend MTC does, or what I do with my baseball cap. But the point is that you can, make a difference by you participating in all of this. So what is that? You looking at some cheat sheet notes there? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm trying to learn about this myself. This is a traditional Chinese instrument. It's a Chinese fiddle. And I believe I wouldn't even try to pronounce it correctly because my Chinese is so bad. But what's crazy about this, Jeff, is that the sound hole is covered by python skin. I'm not kidding. This is actually snake skin, right? And covering the sound hole. And I guess they use it because it's so durable and it stands up to weather. And, so it's traditional in China to actually use python skin, believe it or not, for the, sorry to the animal rights people out there. I hope they don't have like python arms. But this is beautiful. I found it at Reanimated Music, which is a great music store in Seattle. I'm always trying to promote them. They used to be called The Trading Musician when they were owned by someone else formerly known as The Trading Musician. But Reanimated Music does all sorts of amazing instruments. And, Seattle being on the Pacific Rim has a lot of Asian influences, including a lot of food, great noodle houses here, a lot of great San Francisco as well. We're on the West Coast. We are a hop, skip, and a jump away.
I mean, you guys are rival cities with the Niners and the Seahawks and all that. But I mean, I think they're two great cities. One in the Pacific Northwest, one in California. But I think it's
This is actually played by a bow, by the way. This is actually played with a bow. Yeah. And I have a violin bow that I use with it, but I can save that for another time. But, you were talking about tomorrow. It is really important that people get out and stand up for democracy, because there is this new report out by Varieties of Democracy, better known as V-Dem, from Sweden at the University of Gothenburg. And they say that the United States is no longer a liberal democracy, and that one of the takeaways from their research was that after an authoritarian takeover, usually the first major election after that can be a turnaround. And they've actually seen countries make U-turns during the first major election after an authoritarian takeover. So this is a very, very important election coming up in November. And tomorrow is a very, very important day. I remember talking to Gandhi's grandson, Arun Gandhi, in Canada at one point at this festival where Country Joe and the Fish were there, and Buffy St. Marie and some amazing people. And he told me that, I said, when are things finally going to change in the United States in terms of, our way of doing politics and government? He said, when you have millions of people in the street. Well, I guess we do. So I didn't know after he told me that if I'd ever see that in my lifetime, but we are seeing it now. And it's been largely peaceful and a lot of solidarity amongst the groups involved. So tomorrow, by the way, I just saw Bruce Springsteen perform at the the Democracy Now! 30th anniversary event.
Smith over there, Amy Goodman celebrating 30 years.
It's an amazing performance, Bruce. Bruce brought it. He's
going to be in center stage tomorrow in Minneapolis, which of course is we're praising and celebrating the great peaceful protests. Yeah, me too, man. Well, our good friend John D, the great reporter who played citizen reporter for us a few months ago in the protest in in Minneapolis will be there, as will our guest Alex Lawson, who is with us today at Social Security Works, and Bruce Springsteen and Bernie Sanders. And I asked this to John Nichols.
Yes.
I think this may be the first time that they have shared a stage together, Bernie and Bruce.
Oh, really?
Which I think, yeah, because, he would be with a lot of nominees of the Democratic Party. Yeah. And so, I mean, I may be wrong, but I think that that's the case. Usually, if you see Bruce, that means it's a Democratic nominee running against Trump or Bush or whatever. And, going back, I can remember back to 2000 with Al Gore, but he doesn't usually get involved in the primaries. So therefore, I mean, there might have been other events that he was there, but I think it'd be the first time. And of course, Bruce is friend with Neil Young, and of course, Bernie and Neil Young have been on the same stage. But yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be kind of cool to see that.
I've met Bernie several times. I got to see him when he was mayor of Vermont, actually, when he came to Seattle to talk about rent control. But we were also
isn't that now back in fashion? Thankfully,
he and I are on MSNBC. MSNBC did a story about his speech in Seattle, and they have me and him as their photo for that article, which is kind of cool. So I should frame that. Awesome. I was telling him about the United States being ranked 47th in the world in terms of press freedom, because no other member of Congress except for my own representative Pramila Jayapal seems to know anything about that. But yeah, he and they were both together there with Jayapal. He and his wife, and Jayapal and I are in the same photo together. That's pretty cool. But I did want to talk about what's happening here in Seattle. It's very important. Also, Tom Morello and Springsteen got together, I think, a few days after Petty got killed in Minneapolis. So he was there on the scene, like just a couple days afterwards, playing.
Preddy. Okay.
Preddy, yeah. When Alex Preddy was killed.
Preddy, yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I found out that he and Tom Morello actually did a show in Minneapolis. I had no idea. He just showed up and performed with Morello. And I remember telling you, like, well, Morello should be out there somewhere, and he's been doing that too. But here in Seattle, there is a theme, by the way, that's being put out by the Women's March folks, who got 130,000 people here together after Trump's first election. But they are great organizers, and their theme is "We do not consent." And that's what they're promoting as far as one of their messages in the marches, as far as signs and banners and things. We do not consent to this war, to the extrajudicial powers, to the corruption of our government, to the ICE crackdowns on innocent people. So we're tired of that. And also, we have some important speakers here, including our Attorney General, now that Bob Ferguson, our former Attorney General, who won 6 out of 7 legal battles against the Trump administration, he went on to become our governor now. Nicholas Brown is now our state Attorney General. And so he's going to be speaking there, and he's quite progressive. You got Sergio Amenskua, who's the senior pastor from a bilingual church in Minneapolis, is going to be one of the speakers here in Seattle tomorrow. Wow. So there's a Minneapolis Seattle connection. Yeah. Let's see. Shimona Moreno is the executive director from 350 Seattle. She's going to be speaking tomorrow. And then we also have Michael McPherson, who's the executive director for Veterans for Peace, which has been around forever, I believe, since the Vietnam War, and are, really strong organizers who actually I've met multiple times throughout my activist and journalism career, out there organizing things and supporting people like Lieutenant Aaron Watada, who actually refused to lead his troops into war in Iraq because he said that it was a illegal war. So he was, court-martialed, of course. And unfortunately, some of the reporters who had talked to him, folks like me who had interviewed him, got subpoenaed at one point by the Pentagon. But luckily, they dropped those subpoenas because everybody realized, these guys aren't going to show up, because that's a military court, and civilian journalists have, they're not even going to be there. So anyway, I wanted to say that tomorrow is going to be a big day in Seattle. I'm hoping for a huge crowd. I'm sure it will be. And I know that it's marches.
How many people showed up on the one in October, by the way? You remember?
October. They've been increasing. So And actually, there was a march not too long ago, right after, I believe, right after the Iraq War started, and there were like tens of thousands in that march. But I think I think we were up at like 80,000 or something like that.
Wow, that's
And
great.
probably getting
Hey,
bigger.
that's bigger than any of your stadiums, where the Seahawks and Mariners play. And speaking of the Mariners, opening day, right?
Good point.
So that's all cool.
Oh yeah,
And
the Mariners lost to the Cleveland Guardians, so they beat them in spring during the spring season, 20-5 in spring
that's
and
a football score. They thought it
preseason.
was Browns
But
and Seahawks, man.
now they just got beat on opening day, so I'm taking umbrage to that. I'm like, hey, what's up with Cleveland? You're beating us
Hey, was
at
that game
home
in
on
Cleveland
opening
or in
day.
Seattle?
What's that?
Was that in
I I
Seattle?
believe that was in Seattle. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you
So and
guys
then
got
the
to get your
Kraken,
acting gear.
we're struggling. The Kraken is struggling. Not to say that
Well, you're still there. You're
sports
still
is important to
along with
just
your buddies in California. The Sharks are still there, as Nashville is doing pretty well.
It's a,
But then
what
you
do
got
they
two
call it? A
guys who got
pillow fight.
cups.
They're calling the Pacific League a pillow fight because the teams are all within a few games
Right.
of each other. But the Kraken had it pretty much sewn up at one point and went on a winning streak, and then just boom, crashed and
Kind of fell
dived.
apart, huh?
And yeah, nobody here is even like apologizing for that. We are just like, what the, get your act together, folks. This is the playoffs. This is not the time to be struggling. So we're hoping, they'll
Hey,
pull it out. They did win. They won last night, I think, actually. So they also played.
Is that right?
I
want to ask you something that we've been talking about. They did, I believe, win last night. They beat Tampa Bay in Tampa, actually. Pretty impressive. We've been talking about this for a long time. I called this out, I think last year. And the idea of whether it's a Live Aid or Woodstock, however you want to call it. And with Bruce highlighting tomorrow in Minneapolis, and a lot of people, a lot of news and public affairs, music groups, music stations, and so forth, will be looking at this. And I'm wondering if he would be interested. And I'm not telling you, Bruce, that you have to do this, but I would love to see you say, look, we want to do a concert to not only promote peace in this country, to stop the wars in Iran, but I want to organize with my friend Bono, who's got another song at U2, and there across the country. I want musicians to come together. We're going to do this on Labor Day in September. It gives you a few more months to organize it. And what about something like that, MTC? You're a musician. To me, I mean, look, if he asks, the top 100 best musicians in the country. I mean, he knows the whole gamut. It doesn't have to be just rockers, from the U.S. and the U.K. I mean, he knows a lot of people all over the world. And I would wonder, if anybody's going to say, no, I don't want to do it, Bruce. I think he's going to get anybody he wants. And,
Absolutely.
and to me, that would be a great thing, to unify the country. And at the same time, to make it clear that this is not a Gestapo-led, Aryan nation, which, is anti-immigrant, that is anti-people of color. And I think that he could bring together a coalition that very few political people could bring together. And so I don't know what you think, but to me, I'm hoping that's, that's something that we can go to.
Absolutely. If Bruce wanted to do that, he would have so much support. He could get some of the Seattle bands like Pearl Jam maybe to show up. What it would do is it would show the rest of the world another side of the United States, and that's why maybe they should invite Bernie Sanders as well. A different version.
He's here tomorrow, Bernie and Bruce. So
yeah, and we need, maybe Bruce is going to be our kind of, he at this point, actually, if you look at the charts and how fast he did that turnaround on that song, he is kind of our modern Bob Dylan, I guess. And so I'm just like,
hey, Bob should be there too.
Times they are a change, and come gather around, children, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you grow. Will sink like a stone. At the bottom right side is reaching. Please get another loan if you can lend a hand for the times. They are a changing. Yeah.
No doubt about that. And I think,
there's a song about
that
senators and
America
congressmen,
needs
please. Lend a hand. I mean, it's a very direct song about what's happening today. By the way, Jeff, some things never change, and we were talking about how these guitars, well, except for this one, which is a very special guitar that my friend.
What's that
made.
all about?
This is a handmade custom guitar.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a one of a kind, and it's made by my friend in Seattle, and his name is Will Stewart, and he has done great custom work for people. And he probably should be working at Reanimated Music. He's that kind of guy, but he's got a band in Seattle called Love So Deep, and this is a very special guitar. But the general concept of a guitar, which includes, this kind of a neck and head, and although not exactly like that, but the typical look of a guitar is very traditional, right?
Very traditional. Yeah, right. It goes back to Guthrie and all those guys.
Well, guess what? Yeah, very old. But guess who hit the charts again on streaming charts? And they've been around forever. And they've actually influenced me a lot, even though they haven't been together for a couple decades. Guess who is actually hitting the charts right now? And it's kind of not even their best song, but Creedence Clearwater Revival has a song right now.
They're reviving.
So many streams. Yes, they are. John Fogerty, It Never Goes Away. Yeah. And it's that song.
Never goes away.
The song, he said he wrote it about the band breaking up, right? But it's the one where it's like, I want to know, have you ever seen the rain falling down on a sunny day? That's John Fogerty's song, and that is now really popular right now. And I guess I'm keep going back to this idea that the best songs that I can play for people and that people seem to like, and that really, people remember, are sometimes the most simple. Like Streets of Minneapolis, which I wish I would love to be able to play for you. And I believe you would have to have a license with ASCAP. And
well, we got to get Bruce on the show first. Bruce comes on, I'll have him play it, and then we can.
I would cover
it,
but I don't even think I'm not even sure I can do a cover, without that kind of licensing. But I do like that song, and it is very simple. Like if you look at the guitar charts that have come out on a lot of websites that beginning guitarists use and stuff, it has that song and the beginning.
Hey,
skill level.
I got to run, my friend. You have a great weekend. Tell us the next Friday what you saw this weekend in Seattle, and check him out on YouTube, my friend. Thank you, MTC.
I'll let you know.
There you go.
I'll be there.
Hey, I want to thank the entire team in Boca Raton, Florida, and filling in for Jalen. Folks, keep on fighting peacefully, and of course that includes Rocky and Robin, all of our great teams, social media. If you go into the event, be safe. My name is Jeff Santos. Right now, it's my time to say I gotta go.